Okay, there we go. Yes, Delta Love, yes. Okay. At least the A's, yes. The B's a little more tricky with the B's, but anyways, we'll get to that. One of the biggest surprises was K2SO in the U-Wing at 4 points. Most people thought he was super fair and reasonable at 4 points. He does offer some coordinating ability, but they said he does, as I would expect, not too good. What was the other surprise? Edrio at 3. Very few complaints about Edrio being tested at 3 points. I think people think, oh my god, a 3-point X-Wing. It's a T65 platform. It's an Initiative 2 in a game where everybody's playing I4 at the bare minimum, mostly I5s, I6s, and he has very little loadout. So, if you want to build around Edrio being able to do an extra action, good for you. He might get a shot off in the game. And if he doesn't get prioritized, your opponents are shooting at something else. So, what was the Boba at 8? Seemed not many people were complaining about Boba at 8 points. His reduced loadout made him seem reasonable. 8 points is a lot. Second most expensive pilot in the game. So, 8 points is an investment for sure. And Hound. At 4 with 7th Fleet Gunner, that's the only thing you can take if you want it. 4-point support ship, giving some rerolls, not doing any damage, not shooting half the time if he's reloading 7th Fleet. Seemed fair. Cool. All right, let's do it, guys. So we'll head back. Oops, wrong screen. And now we will share our points. Acrobat. Here we go. All right. So, once again, this is version 4. Disclaimer, this is not a points adjustment, points document suggestion implication from XWA. Even though I'm a part of XWA, we started doing this before XWA was formed. And we're just kind of wrapping it up, getting it to a point where we can do extensive testing, and I can take all of that and hand it over to them and say, hey, use this as you want to. This is helpful, valuable, and they have already expressed interest in taking in your feedback in a consolidated and clean way. So play testing and you submitting a form, I will harp on it so many times. It is imperative that you do that, okay? Even if you are butthurt about something, right? Fill out the form, okay? I think we had like 4 times more games than forms than forms submitted. We had almost 30, which I appreciate everybody that did. JJ, shout out to you for filling out multiple, and Joel were the 2 that did the most. So I appreciate you guys. It's exciting, and it takes 5 minutes to fill out the form. So fill out the form, okay? We have a link to a new form. I've also linked to the squad builder in this as well. And change key, here we go. So positive change in points is green, red is negative change in points, and and then yellow is the latest change indicator, meaning the stuff that changed in this version on that line has been highlighted so that we can call out, especially to help Andre, what needs to be changed again. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. $5 handed over. Even if I hit all the points, change the presentation right now is fun as everything. All right, so first of all, here's a fun thing that I decided to do. Here are some alternate rules or game effects you can try for fun. There is a section at the bottom of the submission form where you can fill out if you used any of these, okay? Are these perfect? No. But are they cool? Yeah, I gotta admit, I think some of these are actually pretty good, okay? So we'll start with range 0, okay? Choose 1. You can no longer shoot at range 0. If the attack hits, the defender suffers 1 damage or critical damage if an uncanceled crit was rolled. Only 1. You may choose to take a range 0 shot. If the attack hits, gain 1 strain or deplete token. Okay? Again, optional, choose 1 for range 0. The future will not be fun. Who knows? Random order after dials. If a player who has been first player 4 times in a row may force a reroll once if they become first player again. So let's say turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. One player, the same player, was first player for the 5th turn. If they roll, they would be first player again. They can do a mulligan, both players re-roll. You're stuck with the result after that. I know in TTS, the tracker, I don't know if you can clear the first player roll for a given turn. If you can, great. I don't know. If not, just ignore it and just go with whatever you guys ended up rolling. Cool. Chance engagement, choose one. Half points are rounded up instead of down. I don't know if that moves the needle a lot, but it was what we were used to years ago, so try it. And or you may claim the center point as if it were a satellite from Scramble. So some lists and some factions really struggle in chance. So I think there's a way to be able to get a point, extra point. And also the games last too long. I got to be honest. Chance engagement games, they do not evolve as fast as other games. I think they take too long. Other games sometimes finish too fast. I keep scrolling on Twitch. I will be posting this on Patreon soon, okay? Don't worry. For Scramble, satellites cannot be scrambled until turn 3. So you don't have to choose one. You can use both of these if you want. You may place on your side first instead of your opponent's. So if there's only 3 in Scramble, right? That means you place on your side, so swap. Assault at the satellite array, choose one. When placing, there is no center point. Place 4 total objectives alternating by first player. The other option, one ship cannot score the same satellite more than 2 turns in a row. So you have your little 2-point TIE fighter toilet bowling an objective the entire game. After the second turn in a row of them scoring that objective, they can't score it anymore. Got more engagement with those ships. Toilet bowling is against the spirit of the game. We don't like that. I don't like that. Again, all optional. But I would love if you guys, I recommend you guys try this because I think you'll enjoy it. Salvage mission. Here, these are spicy. There are only 3 objectives instead of 5. You can choose 1 or 2 of these. You place on your side first. A ship with 1 or more face-up damage cards, which says card, but cards, cannot tow a crate. A ship with 2 hull or fewer remaining and no shields left cannot, it says can tow a crate, it says cannot tow a crate. I think I can edit this in. Let me do a little quick acrobat editing here. I think the power of editing should be on my side. Cannot. Let's see. Not. Can I? Edit image. Can I edit the? That's fine. I'm gonna update this doc anyways before it goes live. It cannot tow a crate. Repositions cannot be performed while holding a crate, action or not. So sorry, strikers, you can't do your boost while holding a crate. Ribs D95. I said no shields left. It says no shields left. Okay. No shields left. Is the idea that 2 players? Yeah, correct. So you would basically act like you would be you agree to what rules you want to use and then you build your list as if those were the game rules. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And there's only 3 crates, so Desi, that doesn't really move. If you can't pick up a crate with your 6 ship list because one of them has taken enough damage, there's an intention to discourage the act of running away with the objective the entire game. So if you like get away on 1 or 2 hull, you can't take a crate. Survive, get back in the fight. Like, at least for salvage, you should have more ships in your list that are capable of taking a crate. And with only 3, scoring won't be skewed if your ship can't take it. All right. It's that Desi says choose 1 or 2. You don't have to choose that one. I personally prefer that a ship with 1 or more face-up damage cards cannot tow a crate. I think that's the one I prefer anyways. I'm actually going to update these in Word really quick. Cannot damage cards. Boom. Okay. Save that. Question for Sold. If there's a tie on a point and one of the ships amongst that tie scored the point last round, does it still count for the tie? What is that? I don't know what that means. These things seem like reasonable things to try out. That's good. Somewhat reasonable. Desi's a little more fiery of an opinion, but I respect it. On a point in one of the... Yeah, 3. I think 3 is more so for like just the ships that run away. Just on, you know, yeah. higher hit point ships. If there is a tie on a point and one of by tie, do you mean like you're like you push, or do you literally mean a TIE fighter? And one of the ships amongst the ties scored the point last round. So in terms of like what's the word for it when you have both ships are at a point and nobody scores? Contested. You can still contest, you just can't score a point. You can always contest. I'll add that as a clarification. All right, everybody, let's go through the points. Yeah, contesting is fine. You don't lose the ability to contest. So Lieutenant Karsabi, Karsabi goes down a point from 5 to 4. Just highlighting this as yellow for, here we go. So loadout stays the same, just goes down a point. Major Vendor gets a couple more loadout. And the new squadron pilot. I'm the pilot, the cargo pilot. Major Vendor highlight, there we go. The new squadron goes down, but look, it's now limited, okay? So this is what you're gonna see. Oh, you're good, you're good. We are limiting things. This is a way to encourage generics to be played more without spamming them and making the game feel miserable, but welcoming them back. We're doing the same thing for upgrades and certain upgrades. We'll talk about that. I think this is a really interesting design space to explore and test, and I think it's exciting and cool. And so you can fly 2 Star Wings, generic Star Wings, 3 points each. Congratulations. You want to do that? Great. Good for you. You can't take the, you can't, yeah. So 3-point ion cannon gunboats sound fun. There you go. Yeah, ion cannon, sure, absolutely. Not going to be broken. If they want to take advanced slam and everything, they're already starting to run out of options. The Imperial Super Commando generic goes up and load. It gets more loadout. Stays at 7, just gets 20 loadout. So if you just set a GAR, you could take something with more loadout at the same price. I don't like the idea of 6-point gauntlets because then you can have triple gauntlets. And I just think that, as you know, people are gonna say, "Oh, you're okay at double fire sprays or triple fire sprays." Just it's sure, if you guys want to do, you can already do triple gauntlets with this. You can do the Super Commando, GAR, and Hark. So it's always been a thing you could bring if you really wanted to. Is the generic now intentionally unpipped? I don't believe I removed the pip. I don't remember there being one. You also couldn't bring 3 anyways. No reason to ever do 3 gauntlets. Yeah, well, that's true, I guess. All right, let me click off here. Colonel Jendon, no changes with Colonel Jendon. Baron of the Empire is now limited. It has the same cost and loadout, but you can't take 4 or 5 of them. You can take 3 of them. Vader gains 1 loadout point. Wow, shock. Merrick Steel, the SL Merrick Steel just goes down to 4 points to cost the same as custom Merrick Steel. Go to town. The Gauntlet generic is naturally pipped. Huh. That's fine. I think we can let that mistake slide. I don't think it matters. The Scarif-based pilot gains a missile and some more loadout. Some of these I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not making a Reaper 3 points. Well, you made a U-wing 3 points. It's just the Reaper can do more with the white jam and the ailerons, and yeah, you know, it's 4 points. Get a missile. There you go. There's your generic Reaper. And now no additional changes to any of these here. As you'll see, yellow indicates a recent change. But if you want to put a proton cannon on Vader Defender, you can. He has a second cannon slot. 9 points. Proton cannon, Vader Defender. Or synced lasers, which doesn't make any sense because there is 3 attack dice. So. And if he's lining up bullseye, if he has to boost a barrel roll to do it, he doesn't really have. He just has his force mods. So Scrolling through, I was very happy with everything here. No issues in playtesting with any of these Imperials. So we just keep going. Now the heavy. The generics just get more loadout, a lot more loadout, really. And so, well, by a lot, a few points. To me, that's a lot, exponentially. The heavy is difficult because there should not be a 3-point heavy. But with more loadout, if you want to play generic, you can, something comparable to Rampage, you could bring it. They have the cannons. Can they even use the loadout? I think so. Should be able to. Modification slot. Some of the generics, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, for what we're doing here, our purposes, it's just not. There's certain generics that just think they fit better into getting them back into the game right now, and these are just two that I'm like, here's some more loadout. I'll be honest, I didn't spend an hour looking at these generics for the heavy. Deathfire gets more loadout. Just to try to get people to play custom Deathfire over the SL Deathfire, so a little bit more comparable. Vagabond went down to 3 points, and he has enough to take a cluster mine and targeting computer, or he can take proton bombs. He just likes to basically, he can aileron and then drop something. So a disruptor for Empire, 3-point gun, 4-hole, low initiative. Are they now to play as if they read generic rather than non-limited? SSP Tomax in jail. SSP Tomax at 4 points is good value. I would still play it. What do you mean by that? For the upgrades and pilots that work with non-limited, are they now to play as if they read generic rather than non-limited? Oh, I see what you mean. That is not an interaction that I've been thinking about. I don't know if you find one with the pilots that I have made limited, you let me know. We can resolve that. I don't believe there's going to be much interaction though with what I decided to make limited. So you mean, yeah, discipline is a great example though. I would say, I would say changing it to non-named instead of non-limited. So you could do non-named pilots would be for our purposes would satisfy the non-limited requirements. Got it. That's why you gotta subscribe, my friend. Or Adpocalypse. Twitch has its way with you, it seems, these days. So yeah, for the purposes of treating things as non-limited that are now limited, it will be non-named pilots. So a Black Squadron Scout is not a named pilot and therefore can be treated as a non-named pilot for the non-limited requirement. I'll put that in writing somewhere so you can reference it. The patrol leader, some of you guys were getting giddy about putting Palpatine on a 6-point decimator, 16 health Palpatine carrier. So loses the crew slot. Palpatine needs to be on less of a fortress. Sorry. But gains the title. So cheaper decimator with access to Dauntless. Can still put a gunner, bombs. Put an advanced proton torpedo on that thing and call it a day. Or just a pro torp that'll satisfy all 12. That's why generics, again, the restricted list gets around the pit. Yeah, but there's nothing ever on the restricted list, so I just kind of forgot it existed, to be honest. So this is putting everything in yet another document where I list everything. I'm just putting it here. I'll put a little blurb. It's fine. If I were the community points person for the, in charge of the game in the future, and this was, I would definitely have a team of people, first of all, and we would look at the restricted list. I'll put a blurb about non-limited being non-named. I think we'll be okay. Poor Palpatine rules a galaxy, can't fly in a fortress. Yeah, he's got to stay home. Put him in Vizier. Put him on a Rack or Morna or Oiken or something, you know, or any of the lambdas. All right, no changes with the B-Wings. These changes stay the same. Nora Wexley just gets some more loadout in the ARC 170. She had like 8, so she goes up to +4. Ezra loses a crew slot in the attack shuttle and loses like, I think his loadout stays the same though. Yeah, because he was brought down. All right, for those that wanted the Wookiee gunship to be looked at, I looked at them. The Kashyyyk Defender is now limited. 2 pips. You can bring 2 4-point Kashyyyk Defenders with 6 loadout. And they're, I'm trying to remember what I removed. Or no, I added a talent. I added talents to the Kashyyyk Defenders. Wolfaro and Lorik gain loadout. That's a decent amount of loadout for those 2. Hole Oaken, sorry Hole, you're up to 4. I was doing some thinking. I said, well, an I-4 Y-Wing, certainly you can mag pulse it. Certainly you could initiative kill it. Certainly you can ionize it, right? 3 points though. Double modded APTs can get double mod, or rather reload the APT and get a free lock after doing an action twice. If the other Y-Wings are going to be behind the 4-point wall, then the whole Loken should be 4 points. That's the justification. You might not agree with it, but the purpose of this stream is to talk through everything with you all and try to understand the vision that I had with these changes. The Gold Squadron, Gray Squadron, Veteran and Bombers, they are limited at 2 each, and they go down to 3 points, and they have more loadout. The Gold Squadron gains a talent, and the Gray Squadron Bomber gains access to a torpedo. Oh no, 2 Gray Squadron Protorp carriers. Try it out. I don't know. E-Wings, poor ship. To be clear, that's 4 V generics, or are they sharing the 2 pips across the board? You can't take more than 2 of the Gray Squadrons. You can't take more than 2 of the Gold Squadrons. I also think that if you could put Protorps on 2 of these guys and bring them. I mean, it's certainly, the thought is scary, but I don't know. I don't know. I maybe would want to bring them with missiles and bombs. It's like the whole thing with bringing I-4 Dutch, right? Well, he's always been I-4, but bringing Dutch with just Protorps and then him failing miserably because he's just struggles. Yeah, you got it. The K-Wing, how about the generic K-Wing you can bring, it's limited to 2, but you can bring 2 4-point K-Wings with 9 loadout. There you go. So their loadout went up and their cost went down. Take Barrage, man. Hey, 2 4-point Barrage, but they can slam. You don't ask me to fix the K-Wing, guys, please. This is not I have not get paid enough, and I don't get paid anything. Dirk at 12 points, you guys, and he gets a talent as well. So get Dirk some love, get Dirk some play. Here you go, everybody. It happened. Okay, you're welcome. What can I say? But you're welcome. Jan Ors is 5. Oh, is Barrage double missile? Is it? Let me look at the Warden again. Torpedo. All right, you guys brainstorm what you could build with this as is, and if it's bad, really, really bad, then we can add another missile slot. I don't want to entertain doing that for you guys more than once, but if it's just straight up bad, like I want them to not be good per se, but be value at 4. So if you can't build with these slots, 9 loadout at 4 points, and it's just bad. Big oof if 7th fleet stays 11 billion points. It is. I did not move 7th fleet, but we'll talk about Republic. Okay. They really like that barrage. Do they need barrage? Do they need the barrage? Do rebels need easy range restricted 3 dice guns for 4 points that can slam and have a decent amount of health in a bow tie arc? It's going to take a lot of convincing that that's what they need, that the faction, because we have to keep really quickly, I'm going to go full screen here to mansplain to you guys. We have to keep things in mind in terms of faction relativity to itself, not relative to other factions. It all comes together in the end with the ultimate, like the faction identity and what's strong relative to other factions. But for rebels, they have a lot of good tools these days. So I just want to be mindful that we're not, I want there to be variety, but like hyper efficient value is what we're trying to step a little away from with this. I will talk a bit more about the K-Wings. All right, back to the Hawks. So Jan is 5 with 11 loadout. Talent, or of course, I'm not going to remove Multi-Crow. It's her ship. She flies it all the time. Kyle Katarn stays at 5. He can pass tokens, says like he can't really be 4. He still has his talent. He gets way more loadout. He has 17, so you could bring Kyle and or Jan. And then Rourke just gets more loadout. Sorry, Rebel Scout. The generic Hawk is bad. There's nothing I can do for the generic Hawk but give it the talent slot and break it. Or not talent, the title, rather. I was saying talent, I meant title. Okay. Chewbacca stays at 7, but gets... he gets, let's see, an extra crew. He gets extra crew. I don't know if he had the title before. He did have the title before. And way more loadout. Leia? I heard you guys with Leia. Some of you are complaining and it's like, oh, Leia's 6 points. It's tough to catch Leia. I'm keeping Leia at 6. She loses the title, which isn't too big. She has 1 crew slot and 1 gunner, and loses a loadout. Chewie can fly Palp. Derek Clivian, why do you only had like 5 or 6 loadout? He gets 9 now. His slots stay the same. Keo Venzi is now 4 points with a talent slot now, another talent slot, and more loadout. The goal here is to get more variety in usage of A-Wing pilots. Keo, I think, was like top 2 or 3. I think Jemmer's number 1 right now. I'm not nerfing Jemmer because he doesn't do a lot of damage. 4 point, but Keo can. Side slipping everything. I would absolutely still buy in Keo at 4 points. It's time to get more variety out of our A-Wing, our RZ1s. Shara stays the same, was cheaper last iteration. All right, Biggs Darklighter was 5 points each, SL and custom. He's now 4 points. He gains a talent slot. He loses loadout for the custom. 4 point X-Wing, low initiative, taking damage. He will die very, very fast. Corrin Horn, stat stays the same. Edrio 2 tubes is still 3 points, but loses loadout, goes from 6 to now just 4. So cannot take false transponder codes. You could take dead mans, or you could just put like cluster missiles on them. Would be more focus-based munitions. You want a barrage on one of these? All right. Yendor is 4 points. Enough said. he can be played at 4. It's all right. It's going to be okay. He's a higher initiative, but does not need to be the same price as Wes and Wedge and Luke. I disagree with that. Like I said, I used to fly 3 of them in one, and they used to be full of tricks. They could drop on. What are we talking about? K-wings. This was with the K-wings. Oh, okay. Red Squadron veteran stays the same, being cheaper. Bodhi Rock cargo pilot gets more loadout. The U-wings that did not go to 4 points because Jesus Christ, no. Only K2 got more loadouts. Cassian gets more loadout. Heftober gets more loadout. Gets 3 more. K2 is fine. Tested well. Aaron, 3 for 4. Didn't change. Hired gun gets 3 pips for the Y-wing. Same 6 loadout. L337 gains a talent, gets more loadout in the Scum Falcon. Talking Scum now. Lando gets more loadout for 5 points. Fang Fighters, Fen still stays at 5 with 6 loadout. It's going to be okay. Fen Rao, the Fang Fighters die very quickly. If he gets into range 1, he's probably at range 2 to 3 of multiple ships, and he cannot afford to spend his focus. Old Tarok had 9 loadout, now has 6. Stays at 4. I fly, I'm a pilot. What's the thought? So no limited pips for the generic X-Wing. There's just so many named pilots in the T-65s. I have nothing against the generic X-Wing. I just don't think, I'm trying to keep in mind the stuff that people are actually going to want to play or would be interested in. And generic X-Wings, at least with the games that I had played all over, weren't really ever played that much. That's my experience though, and my own bias. I don't dislike them. If you played constantly against or with generic T-65s, let me know in the heyday. How about this though, folks? So Boba stays at 8 and loses 1 more loadout. So now he's at 17. Just a little bit more awkward building with him. Hondo, 6 points from 7 with less loadout and 3 illicits, because that's hilarious. Please build him with 3 different illicit upgrades. It's so Hondo. It's so Hondo. So, oh no, I could play 3 mid-range triple fire sprays for Scum. Cool. It just, some of you guys just hate the idea of triple fire sprays. It's not like triple defenders. If they're single modded, only assault would they be decent at as well. They don't want to take a crate. Where are the G1A buffs? Oh yeah, I didn't touch the IGs because those are the ones I'm like, I don't think so. You guys expect me to change everything. I'm not going to do that. Again, the green is stuff that's already been changed. Gargor gets a missile. Congratulations, my friend. Let's go, Gargor. Let's go. Sunny Bounder is 2 points with no loadout. This is a spicy one. Some of you guys are gonna hate me, but you're welcome for the people that wanted it. No loadout. Yushin stays at 2. Dirge gets the title, and so does Victor Hell. Let's go. Dirge gets the title, and so does Victor Hell. One more time. Dirge gets the title, and so does Victor Hell. There you go. There you go. Okay. Okay. Q9. We had this talk with Joe Churchman, and I had a good chat about Q9 and how we loved playing him. And now that Lando has more loadout, no one's ever going to play Q9. So Q9 gets a bomb slot, and he gets a 3 or 4 more loadout. At the top of my head, I can't remember. I think it was like around 14 or 15. So he's up to like +6 then. So bringing Q9 is not a mistake. And he could drop a bomb. Because of course his Q9 is Richard Iode. She got back to cannon. Aha, no. Wait, not for any specific reason, just doesn't have it. All right. Commander Malorus still stays nerfed. Lieutenant Revis is still 2 points. You guys are gonna be like, how could you? But with no loadouts. Can't take Fanatical. Does FO need a 2-pointer? I don't know if they need it. They have access to 1. And with the nerfs to Malorus and Wylo, I think it's going to be okay. Breach stays the same. Captain Phasma goes back to 4 with 15 loadout and an extra talent. She gets a lot more loadout, but she's no longer 3 points. That experiment failed. And the testing did not like that. And I get it. Omega Squadron gets some more loadout. Avenger didn't strongly against at 4 points. I respect the testers. So Avenger's gonna go up to 515, which is a lot of loadout for a silencer, and he gets an illicit. There you go, an illicit on Avenger. Some codes or something. Let's get Avenger played. That was the purpose of making Avenger 4 for a while, was to see how it worked. Kylo Ren is super. We've been playing Kylo testing Kylo at 6 in person and online. 20 loadout feels very good with him. Shield upgrade, missiles, everything. You know, whatever kit you want to kit him out with. Thanison stays the same, being cheaper at 6. Same loadout. All right, Resistance. Things get a little spicy here. So the Star Fortresses, you're welcome. They get nerfed with loadout a little bit, but they get cheaper. Okay, they're 5 points for Finch and Edon. Never seen Edon in play. Otherwise, list building is limited. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then you also like don't want to just give certain factions more than one 2-pointer, right? Because then they're spamming. Like they have like an 8-ship list with high initiative aces. It's awful, terrible experience. It's not what we want. Sir Linda is gonna stay at 3 but lose a couple of loadout. ZZ to low. I heard the call for ZZ to have something a little bit punchier, so ZZ has gained a cannon and gotten a couple more loadouts. Okay, not broken. 4 points still. Ray stays the same, just losing a couple loadout. Basically, with the Ray change earlier, if you missed it, just the novice tech engine upgrade stuff now just can't take that stuff as added, but just a little too good. Bastion stays cheaper. The Poe stay the same. Again, the loadout is nerfed, so he is more of a knife fighter, as I think he belongs, than just a auto double modded Protorp carrier. If you put Protorps on him, you can't take anything else really of value. All right, let's get to Republic. Knack is 2 points with 5 loadouts, so you lose a 2-pointer in boost. And you gain one in Knack. And here we go. Here are some Delta 7 Aether Sprites. They do not get cheaper because, oh my goodness, but they all gain loadout, and 2 of them gain missiles. Barriss and Luminara can take missiles. Okay? Is that... Now, this is something worth testing because now they can take missiles. Great. Hard to line up Bullseye with CLT when you're a lower initiative ship. Those 2 can take. I wanted to add 1 more missile carrier, but the thought of 3 Jedi in a list with all missiles is like, just trying to be a little bit more conservative. So missile carrying Barriss and Luminara. Luminara is a good ability. Barriss is just a 4-pointer with 13 loadout that you can take in your list. Adigalia stays the same, being cheaper with the 15 loadout. Tested pretty well. Seemed fair at that price with that loadout, so we didn't change it. Ayla stays at 4. She was 5 in the Ada. She's 4 with 12 still. The Naboo Handmaiden gains a missile. Stays at 4 with 16 loadout. They didn't really have any firepower. Now they do. Dark Side. That would be cool. No, I haven't considered changing the keywords for them. But Barriss is isn't she like a terrorist technically? The Torrents didn't touch the Torrents again. We touched the Torrents fairly well for Republic. So you have access to your 4-point lat with 7 fleet gunner. You have missiles on a couple of the Aether sprites. They all have more loadout. You have a cheaper Adigalia. You have a couple of 2-point Z's still. You have more loadout with the Torrents. Republic has always been difficult to balance. So I tried to do more with less without trying to make it without breaking anything. I don't know. A Republic needs its own case study on balance. Again, use cheaper Anakin, cheaper Denise. This was last time. Not great overall for Republic getting left behind. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, Republic got, besides Oddball getting nerfed, everything else for Republic got buffed. So if everything hinges on 3 ARC 170 lists, then the faction is systematically in trouble. And I don't know what I can do. I can try stuff and it'll probably break it. Annie got nerfed bad. Annie can take synced laser cannons, or let's look at that. Because not real, I disagree. He went up in cost. He's the same price. SOC Anakin went up, but now look at the custom Anakin with double cannons, synced lasers. Do synced lasers and shield upgrade. You could do a proton cannon. SOC Annie is worse than custom in every way. All right. Wat Tambor, he had enough to be able to take shield upgrade and marksmanship. He's a tactical relay carrier and should be a cheap 3 attack dice, lower health option. So he cannot take shield upgrade. Aura Singh gains a force slot. She can take dark side force. So it's actually always been there. So she can take hate. Django stays at 7 with neutered loadout. Again, you cannot take much on him. And keep in mind, perspective, we haven't even gotten upgrades yet. So some of these things, you'll change the way you feel about certain things when we go to the upgrade. So please bear with me. I don't agree with that. So much Republic got buffed. I mean, again, it's a systematic issue. If it's all because of the 3 ARC 170s, then that's deeper rooted than what I can fix, right? I don't mean to harp on it, but like, look at how much green. There's 1 red, and it's SOC Anakin. Like, well, sorry, two red because of Oddball. And boost, because that doesn't move the needle at all, though. This is the big one. This is the one. If the faction is unplayable with all these buffs, because of 1 arc, ooh boy. Like, you know, it's like, what do I make? You could probably justify Obi-Wan at 6 points. I get that. Just didn't do it. The N1's in the 4-point Hound. There you go. All right. Anyways, sorry. I don't mean to harp on Republic. Separatists still stay strong as they should be. You could bring 3 fire sprays, but it will not be very good. We've tested it, and it has not been as good as you might think, especially when Boba is low initiative and can't take a bomb. Django can't put as much on him, and Zam doesn't fit. So you could take Aura, but she's an I4 with the Force. At least she can get the Force back when she takes the inevitable damage that she takes. You have a lot less perfect information in that list. It is bad for scenarios. The only one it could be good at is Assault. But all the other changes, if you're bringing that list instead of bringing a swarmy type list, as these changes are meant to encourage, I think you're doing it wrong. I think you should go to Scum if you want to bring 3 or 4 ship lists or 5 ship lists with what we have. The bombardment drone gets double pipped, so you can't take 3 prox mine bombardment drones. You can take 2. I was a little concerned with seeing those 8 ship lists with people with 3 prox mine bombardment drones. All right. IG 101 lost some loadouts. People testing him saying he might just have a little too much firepower for his price. The rogue class chassis isn't very impressive. It has a decent action economy with the linked actions, the focus, link roller boost, but so he just loses a couple loadout. 066 gains the tactical relay. It was talked about. I like this idea. I think it will be fine. He doesn't have a lot of loadout, so if he might just be a beefy, easy to shoot, calculating tactical relay carrier, there's your 5 points. No further changes to Separatists. All right, so those are the ships. Pilots. Pilot. Overall, how are we feeling? Okay, version 4. I am not looking to, unless I have to, which we can do, not really looking to do another comprehensive change at this point, given where we're at with XWA. This is going to feed perfectly into informing XWA. I don't know, John, I guess you might be the only one that feels that way with, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I would maybe try before you say that. If you're not interested, I guess I can't help you if you're not interested in trying it. Good, feeling like a good direction, but not perfect. It should be better than what we had. It is optimized and refined from the last version. So where a lot of y'all were 6 or 7 out of 10, I'm hoping this is closer to like 8. I think 8 means I've done a very good job, which would be really cool if that ends up being the case. That's me being hopeful. No use dropping it if I can't take fun stuff. Well, let's poll the audience here. 2 4-point K-Wings with barrage rockets. How are we feeling about that with the current rebel points that you saw? Janet being 5. Give Tally her cannon slot back. What? Let me look at Tally again. Just scroll up a ways to get to Tally though. I'll just control F. Oh, actually I'm already here. Okay. 12. Tally should have missile, no cannon. I like K-Wings firing munitions. Yeah, that's where I'm at with Constable, is like, we really, like, I feel like the K-Wings could still do something without having barrage rockets. The thing with barrage rockets is that they restrict the range bonus, which is why it's, and there's so much token sharing. That's true. All right, I'm leaving Tally alone right now because people are disagreeing on what she should have, and I'm not fielding additions or subtractions right now, even though I'm, you know, I'm listening. I'm listening. All right, let's go over upgrades. Grand Inquisitor was 15, so he goes down to 13. You get to do an action, white action. You spend a force to do it. 13 points. I mean, 15 is a lot. Death Troopers are nerfed. 6 points instead of 4. Migs went down a point. There isn't really much you can do with Migs, so I'm like, here, is 3 points make him? I looked at him, I was like, huh. By the way, I said I polled everybody and I promised this would be light changes. There are more changes than I expected to make, but this is not sweeping upgrade changes because then I would have to revisit everybody's loadout. Everybody. You can't see what you can't see anything. Here you go. Apologies. Here's I'll let you, I wasn't showing you guys anything. I'll let you guys soak this in. What I've talked about so far is like 3 things. Single pip and snare. That's not a bad idea. I didn't do it, but it's not a bad idea. Yeah, Migs is just so hyper conditional. All right. La, 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 la. Chopper was 1 point, now he's 2. Kanan Jarrus was 13, or he was 12, he goes down 1 point. Lando goes from 2 to 3. The reason for Chopper, 1 point, being able to perform actions even while stressed. It should be worth more than 1 point. Kanan was just 1 point less. I think it makes it, you can think about at 11 points, slotting him in somewhere or not. Lando at 2 points, thinking about it, well, you can, with the way Rebels can synergize, being able to roll 2 dice and always have tokens, or potentially a focus of 8 or focus, like, you know, just 3 points. This is not a big deal. He was fun on Zeb. No more changes there. Again, light changes to upgrades, as you guys can clearly see. Because if I change everything, then all the loadout needs to change. I need a committee to do that. Burnout thrusters is a point cheaper for Scum. Stopped getting taken really much at all, ever. So 1 point cheaper. Yay! Titles are all staying free. Captain Phasma goes up a point, just because of the Death Trooper change, just keeping that consistent. Phasma doesn't get played as much as Death Troopers, but it's a similar effect. Sets of Scramblers is 2 points. Being able to cloak and not be lockable for a little while is yeah, worth 1 more point than marksmanship. All right, BB. All right, so here's resistance. Some of you might like this. Some of you guys might hate this. But we're getting, so BB-8 is cheaper. Okay, R1J5 is cheaper. R5X3 is cheaper. R68 is 1 point more. BB Astromech is cheaper. Wartime loadout is 1 point more. It's double shield upgrade. Leia is cheaper. She was 14, now she's 12. That's somebody being able to decrease the difficulty of their maneuver 1 ship. We spend the force, like 12 points is a sink of a cost. It's worth it. I think. I mean, I think that ability is strong. Kova appreciates that. So are you actually concerned with these astromechs? Because the R68 astromech is the only one, and this is like, these are like a point difference. R68 was the one that was getting played the most. And wartime loadout. Those are the two. You're looking past that and looking at these mostly, well, 2 of these generic astromechs. You have BB and R1J5. This one lets you repair face-up damage cards even while stressed. Is that really gonna endless buffs to resistance? I think that's a little hyperbole. I don't know. M9 and R68. Yeah, so it's like, thought you were done with the resistance buffs. I have a fan, John. I'm sorry that I have upset you. The armchair, it's always easy to have the impulse armchair reaction based on our experiences. This is not gonna break, this isn't gonna make the faction, but this makes the faction more interesting. That's the point. It makes the faction more interesting. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't blame you for not liking it, but it needed to happen. And that's one that I think was important to have. I did not touch heroic, everybody. Don't worry. R2C4 is now 2 points for Republic. I almost wanted to make Q7 0, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to take it at 0 either. I mean, maybe you do just because it's free, but overall, I like the pricing of all of these. But R2C4, it's good with the N1s. They can evade a lot. Yoda is cheaper by a couple of points. Boo. Battle meditation is cheaper. Battle meditation hasn't been used in a long time. BB, yeah. Using the errata, yeah, correct. Yeah. So that's a system phase reposition instead of a pre-maneuver. K2B4 goes up a point just because he'll be a popular tactical relay with all these options that Separatists have. Still can slot him in easily. Gravitic deflection goes down. No changes to those titles. All right, heavy laser cannon, double pipped, ion cannon, double pipped. The key is to not have ultra spam of the same thing in a list. I don't, you know, someone bringing a 6 or 7 ship list with 5 HLCs, 6 ion cannons. Perceptive co-pilot is a single pip. So you can only have one so perceptive co-pilot. Hate goes down from 5 to 4. Patience is from 2 to 1. Patience, you're taking a deplete to get a force back. I think you're from that position. You're trying to stay alive. Only like Ahsoka, I thought really worked with Ahsoka on the A-wing. Patience, Anakin. Agile gunner goes up a point. 2 good at 1 point. Double it. Make it 2. Homing missiles, cheaper but 2 pipped. Ion missiles, cheaper, 3 pips. We are limiting generic upgrades. Diamond borons, you can only take 1 in a list. It was 4 points. Mag pulses go up. We got to the point where mag pulses were pretty much guaranteed to take things away. The same culprits using it, taking things away from players, and I mean that's a part of the strategy, but it's changed up the economy of munitions a little bit here. Are they reflected in the app now? No, not yet. They've been sent to Andre. Ooh, did I just get? Oh, I just got. Ooh, nice. The Colonel Jendon Patreon art I just got updated and sent to me. It looks beautiful. I would imagine that it'll take a day or two for the builder to these are comprehensive. So just teasing it though, because I felt it's better to tease it before the builder gets changed than do it after and you guys are all wondering why things are changing as you're building things. You know, I made the electro proton bomb a point cheaper. It's not gonna matter. Passive sensors was 5, now it's 4. Passive used to be a bigger thing in 2.0. It's totally fair at 4, in my humble opinion. Lone Wolf is 4. That decision I waffled back and forth with. I talked to Maui about it. He said it was worth testing at 4. A defensive or offensive reroll every turn, as long as you can do it, for 4 points. It's fine. Is this an entire points for the whole game? Man, Fly, you are behind. Yeah, this is all for testing. This is like, you guys don't even have to do this. I just woke up, don't ask. These are our, this is version 4 of our 312 points that we're gonna use to play test. And I will pass them off to the powers that be at the XWA. Elusive went down from 4 to 3, but you can only take 2 of them in a list. Enduring is cheaper. You could take 3 of them in a list. I don't know why you would, but you can. It is pipped just in case. Marksmanship, I was thinking about making it 2 points, but that just seemed unfair. There aren't a lot of, you know, value upgrades at 1 point. So instead, 3 in a list. Outmaneuver at 10 points. What have you done? Yeah, a single pip outmaneuver. So 10-point outmaneuver for one pilot in your entire list. Swarm tactics. This is stays the same, but pipped. No more chaining 3 or 4 or 5 swarm tactics, everyone up. It's still good. One of them, most people are only bringing 1. Maybe you bring 2. So. Tierfon Belly Run, congratulations, you're free. Everybody, every Y-Wing should take it. They can. Plasma torpedoes go up a point. Half the price of proton torpedoes seems perfect. Perfecto. And those are the changes, everybody. Version 4. Seems like most of you only, or a couple of you that are well, one of you is very upset with me. Most other people seem okay with these, or maybe excited or agreeable with most. That's the hope. A lot of this was done based on the extensive conversations and the playtest submissions you have sent, based on the data, based on the games you have played, and based on the consensus from a large coalition group of players who play all factions. This is not just me pulling this out of my ass. I've talked to Maui. Maui did his own great points change. I definitely would check that out. There are going to be some similarities. There are going to be some differences. I pulled some inspiration from him and we chatted about things. I've talked to top faction players. Like for Scum, I talked to Cam Murray about what to do with Scum. So again, this is all informed stuff. And if you don't like it, I totally understand. This is not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. I am not perfect. And I am sorry if you are upset. Which apps are going to be upset? There will be a launch bay fork. That's what people are calling it. A launch bay browser. We have our version 3 points up already. This document is going to be posted to our Patreon. It's going to be free for all members, free or paid. I just need to add a couple of qualifying things. There will be a link to the squad builder. Again, the builder will need a couple of days to be updated. And the link to the latest playtest form. Again, if you missed it, these are alternate rules or game effects that you can try in your game that I encourage you try, because it could make the games very interesting and more fair for lower initiative ships, or ships that are, or just for the way scenarios are played by players. I'm a fan of how there is less emphasis on munitions in general. Yeah, I mean, there is and there isn't. There's more emphasis on ships that need munitions and less emphasis on ships who were abusing it. I'm definitely excited. Awesome. All right, so exclamation point Discord. If you're not in our Discord already, when you are welcomed, it'll say go to roles. There is a points talk, or rather a through and 2 points tester role. It's the GG react. You react to that, you're given that role, and then you can talk with us in our channel about list building points. Again, I will update everybody once the builder is updated. Andre is in a different time zone and doing this out of the kindness of his heart. So please consider donating like $5 to Launch Bay Next as a thank you for him doing this. How cool is it that we have that kind of power and connection to do something like that, to have a squad builder for this? It's pretty freaking cool. I'm happy for the stuff you are doing. It's cool. Thank you. Link to donate. Yeah, sure. Let me see. I have that. Can you give me 1 second, please? Stand by while I give that to you. Here we go. Oh, that was actually linked to the builder. Here we go. PayPal. Copy link address. Yeah, please consider donating like $5-10 if you can. You know how tradies played this game. Yeah, it's fair. So there is the link to Andre Lynn's PayPal from Launch Bay Next. All right. All right. Again, please, as a member of the X-Wing Alliance, I am honored to be able to represent them in a official capacity, and then as a member of an organizer of 312, I am excited for this final points doc to be shared with you all and for you to test. But I do need you all to test, and so fill out those forms. Let me share one more thing with you all before we end. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Rome, here we go. Facebook, doc somebody. All right, here's our testing form for version 4. Instead of linking to your squad, now you'll just paste the squad as text. Your and your opponents. You'll say which points adjusted pilots you brought, which upgrades, scenario, how many rounds, who won, how'd the game go, takeaways from the pilots that you tested, and then any alternate game effects or rules you tried, which ones and how did it go. There's also a link to if you like to record your games and share, you can do that as well. We were playing with these points in my local store. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that, actually. Hopefully, I know that the current iteration has some issues, but overall, I was happy with it. This one, I'm really happy with, though. Personally, I think we are getting CIS and Scum where they need to be. I think we're making Rebels and Empire more fair while also being more interesting and exciting. So, thank you all so much. I will get this video up and posted shortly, and I will post this on Patreon tonight. But I gotta eat. It's way too late, but I gotta eat. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. John, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I appreciate you being here, and I do value your feedback. And I apologize that this isn't what you wanted, but bigger picture, there will be a bigger beta test of points. Maybe that will make you happier, but this will help inform what needs to be tested. So it has its purpose. Is there a field to rate your own play? I ask because if someone is having an off day, then results are skewed. I would just mention it in how the game went. Like some people said, oh, well, I hit a couple obstacles or my opponent got diced. Just mention it. That works. Yeah, just be honest. Bigger samples needed. Anyways, thank you all so much. I'll talk to you all very soon. Goodbye.